Everyone knows that the Wii Fit trilogy of games is one of the most highly respected series in all of gaming, and today I'm going to be looking back at all the content these games have to offer and ranking all of it. These exercise-focused activities can actually be a lot of fun, but some of them are definitely better than others. The Wii Fit games are pretty much just the same thing 3 times in a row, but with more content each time. So I'll be considering the different versions of an activity as the same thing since they're pretty much identical. That means most of my footage will be from Wii Fit U, although Wii Fit Plus does have a few unique activities that didn't make a return. I'll be separating all the activities into 3 different categories: the main minigames, the dances from Wii Fit U, and the yoga and strength exercises at the end. Yes, I am actually going to rank all of those, but it won't be very serious. While it might not be as charming or as fun as Wii Fit, Ring Fit Adventure is a better exercise game overall in my opinion. But I'm not going to include the minigames from Ring Fit as they're pretty different and I don't really consider them a part of the same series. But if you're wondering, the rhythm mode is the best one. I'm not nearly as familiar with the Wii Fit minigames as I was with the sports from Wii Sports, as I never actually had Wii Fit as a kid. My only childhood experiences with this game were at friends' houses, so I apologize to all the hardcore Wii Fit fans if my rankings seem a little strange. I'll start by ranking all the main minigames you probably remember the most, and then cover all the other stuff after that. Alright, I've got 34 minigames, 8 dances, and 33 yoga poses to talk about, so let's get right into ranking every single Wii Fit activity. At the very bottom of the minigame list, there's Balance Bubble. This is one of the few Wii Fit activities that I don't enjoy playing, as it's way too touchy to control and super annoying to get through. Barely touching the walls or getting hit by an obstacle results in an instant game over, which is way too harsh. There are so many other balance minigames that are better than this one, and getting through all the difficulties was a huge pain. Both the music and your Mii get super panicky once you get too close to a wall, which just makes me lose focus and die even faster. This is pretty much the worst that Wii Fit feels to play, as it makes the balance board feel like nothing more than a gimmick. Climbing isn't horrible, but it isn't super fun either. It's very slow-paced, which makes it feel a bit boring compared to some of the other activities. It's not a great feeling when one of these grips is just barely out of your reach, and you waste your precious stamina trying to see if you can grab it. And these yellow grips that switch every time you grab them are just plain annoying. For an activity that requires 2 Wii remotes and the balance board, it doesn't really make good use of them. I can see how someone else might be more into this one than I am, but I didn't really enjoy my time with climbing. I feel a little bad putting Lotus Focus this low, but there really just isn't much going on here. I actually really like meditation, and the random creepy sounds trying to throw you off and distract you are a nice touch. But the entire gameplay loop is just sitting as still as possible for 180 seconds, so I can't really put it any higher than the others. I just think I'd rather sit quietly without having to focus on a giant digital candle in front of me, but I appreciate what it represents with its extreme simplicity. Big Top Juggling is a balance minigame that has you trying to focus on multiple things at once, which I'm not very good at. This one can feel decently fun once you get everything going all at once, so I think the real reason why I don't like it that much is just the circus theme. I don't even know why, but circus stuff just annoys me for some reason. And it doesn't help that your so-called assistants start throwing bombs at you that you have to dodge, which always ruins my flow. I'm sure I could get better at this one if I played it more, but that's the problem. I really don't want to play this anymore. This is another one of those rankings where I can't tell if it's a weak minigame, or if I'm just really bad at it. This is a pretty intense test of your balance, requiring you to keep the gamepad perfectly still while walking in place on the balance board. It doesn't take long for things to go wrong, as the desserts you're delivering are designed specifically to roll off your tray as fast as possible. I like the atmosphere of this fancy restaurant, but I don't think I would ever choose to play this willingly if I wasn't making this video. Although I do enjoy racing back to the corner zooming through people after serving. That's the best part. Wait a minute, now I'm doing math and exercise? In my video game? Perfect 10 can be kind of fun when you get into a rhythm and solve the basic problems super quickly, but it's still a little too simple to go any higher. There were a couple moments where the balance board didn't register the direction I was trying to go in, which cost me a few seconds. It also makes me feel like a complete idiot sometimes when it takes me 5 full seconds to solve problems a first grader could do. And Perfect 10 is a dumb name, so from here on out I think we should call it Sassy Math. Yet another balance minigame that I'm bad at. Penguin Slide has you tilting left and right to try and catch all the fish that are stupid enough to jump up here to their deaths. Trying to get the red ones that hover in the air by flicking left and right suddenly is surprisingly hard, but at least falling off doesn't immediately make you start over like some other minigames do. This one is pretty inoffensive, but it doesn't do anything to stand out or be too memorable either. There's others that control very similarly that I like a lot more, which is why this one is closer to the bottom than the top. The music can get a bit grating after a while too. I could maybe see Hula Hoop being one of someone's childhood favorites, but it didn't do much for me unfortunately. It's just a little too repetitive to be interesting, and I never felt like I fully understood how fast it wanted me to spin my hips. The music is pretty catchy though, and it's very satisfying to see the number of spins go higher and higher as you get more hoops going at once. Throw in some arm spins at a higher difficulty and this one can be pretty entertaining at times. I respect that Nintendo probably had to pay to use the official Hula Hoop trademark, as that's way better than it being called some off-brand thing like Fun Hoop Time or something. Driving range is pretty straightforward, where you practice your swing and hit golf balls as far as you can. This might be my Wii Sports Spy is showing here, but I think this one's pretty fun. Adding in the balance board makes the usual Wii Remote swinging a lot more interesting, as shifting your weight impacts the strength of your swing. This minigame feels pretty chill to me since there isn't the usual pressure that comes with golf to aim your shots perfectly. I have yet to actually get it in the hole, so I always feel like trying again to see if I can finally do it. Definitely not a bad minigame, but not anything too special either. I didn't hate Tightrope Walk as much as I thought I would, as trying to move forward while balancing on the rope is a lot less annoying than I expected. It can still be pretty tough though, once these weird things start coming at you and the wind tries blowing you off the rope. You have to be centered on the rope before jumping, which creates some pretty intense moments as you try to balance quickly. But this is still another one of those minigames I probably will never play again after this. Ski jump is pretty much exactly what it sounds like. It's pretty fun for how simple it is, and having to lean into the wind at the higher difficulty is a nice challenge. I always feel like I can do better on another try, which makes this minigame pretty replayable. But it's still just too short, as you can experience everything this minigame has to offer in like 5 minutes. It accomplishes what it's trying to do, but it's not interesting enough to rank any higher. Basic Run and Free Run are nice ways to exercise while getting a mini tour of Woohoo Island, and I like that you can follow the cats or dogs to discover new routes to take. But there just isn't enough variety to put it any higher, as running in place is only fun for so long. Obviously this one is more focused on straight exercise, which is fine, but it doesn't hold up super well when compared to the other minigames. I don't really have any strong positive or negative thoughts on the gameplay of this one, but getting to spend time on Woohoo Island is always a plus. Snowboard slalom is pretty much exactly the same as ski slalom, and the only reason I prefer the other one is because you have to keep your head turned sideways while riding the snowboard, which starts to get uncomfortable after a while. Leaning forward will increase your speed, but that also makes it a lot harder to stay on the right side of all the checkpoints. You'll never guess what the next minigame is going to be. Ski slalom is the same thing again, but it doesn't hurt my neck, so that makes it better in my eyes. It also feels like you can go a bit faster in this one, but that might just be my imagination. It actually took me a while to unlock all the difficulties, as I'm too impatient and always keep speeding up and then have to suffer the consequences. And the extra difficulty level with all the snowmen all over the place is even harder. Puzzle squash is pretty enjoyable, as the Wii Remote acting as a racket is still a match made in heaven. This one feels more like luck than skill though, or maybe I just suck at aiming my shots where I want them to go. Getting a whole wall of the same color feels pretty good, and running to quickly reach the ball can feel very satisfying. Turns out Tetris and tennis combine together surprisingly well, but it does get a bit old after a while. Table tilt can be very difficult at times, which makes it feel that much better when you finally make it through all the levels. The music getting more and more intense as you progress is a nice touch, and I actually weirdly like how ridiculously hard some of the later levels can be. I totally understand why some people seem to hate this one, but I had a pretty good time with it. The second I saw the extra ice difficulty, I immediately stopped playing though, so I guess my me will just have to spend an eternity trapped inside this cursed ball form, never to escape. Using the gamepad to aim and shoot water at incoming Miis and hose down is a lot of fun, and using the balance board to refill your water supply adds in some nice strategy. I love seeing iconic locations like Woohoo Town, Summerstone Castle, and the mysterious ruins used as stages, and shooting down the Miis flying with balloons feels great. This style of dual-screen gameplay is only really possible with the gamepad, and while this isn't the best use of it, it's still very solid. The music of Core Luge is what keeps me coming back, as I absolutely love this song that motivates you to go faster and faster. It's pretty hard to make it around all the corners without bumping into them, but even when I messed up multiple times, I still got 4 stars for some reason. But that might have something to do with the fact that I always go as fast as possible. The sense of speed is really great here, and the final straight stretch is always fun to zoom down.
Right, block, alright. Let's do this together. Step back, left, right, left, block. Step back, right, left, right, block.
Rhythm boxing can actually be some pretty good exercise if you do the punches all the way, and finally getting all the patterns down perfectly feels very rewarding. The combos can get pretty tough, with dodging and footwork that took me a while to master. Surprisingly, the trainer constantly shouting at you didn't get on my nerves at all, and the part at the end where you get to go absolutely insane on the punching bag is always great. This is obviously one of the minigames that's more focused on straight fitness, but I still think it's pretty fun on top of that. Timing your movements perfectly in Rowing Crew is super satisfying, and moving your entire body back and forth forces you to actually try your hardest to win. The part at the end that makes you go extra fast is pretty intense, and I especially have a hard time keeping up with the final stretch in the expert difficulty. I think most people would put this one a lot lower, but I just really enjoy it for some reason. I don't know if you know this, but I kind of like Woohoo Island, so seeing it in the background gets this one some extra bonus points for me. Whenever I feel like actually working up a sweat, Rowing Crew is one of my go-tos. It can be pretty hard to keep perfect timing in Rhythm Parade, but once you get a solid streak going, it feels amazing. It's a fairly simple gameplay loop, but it's still really fun to pull off successfully. It's surprisingly difficult to keep your feet and arms in perfect sync with each other. Seeing Woohoo Town Plaza at night with this huge party atmosphere gets my Woohoo Island lore brain thinking, and I guess I just like the vibes of this minigame. As far as I'm concerned, this is the only time Miis have ever played instruments. Jumping higher and higher each time and trampoline target is a lot of fun, and trying to fall right in the center keeps things interesting. This minigame doesn't do anything too impressive, but it's still really enjoyable despite how simple it is. It's the sense of scale and speed that I really like, as breaking the sound barrier as you fall back down to the island feels super cool. This is a good example of how Wii Fit can take a fairly simple exercise and make it so much more exciting, with a whole bunch of charm that keeps you engaged. I will admit that the main reason Tilt City made it this high is because of its incredible music, but it's also just a really solid use of the balance board and Wii Remote on top of that. Getting all the balls to the right colored pipes is extremely satisfying when you don't mess up, and the fireworks in the background are a great extra detail. Despite how fast-paced later stages can get, I still find this one oddly relaxing and calming. When it comes to minigames about tilting, this is one of the very best in my opinion. Orienteering can be a bit awkward to control at times, but getting to explore Woohoo Island like this is still really fun. The whole gameplay loop is basically like the memories from Breath of the Wild, where you get a picture of somewhere on the island and you have to find it from context clues. It took me an embarrassingly long time to realize that you have to have the right picture selected before you can find a Mii, but once I figured that out, everything went a lot smoother. The higher difficulties can get pretty obscure, so you can ask nearby Miis to point you in the right direction, which is very much appreciated. An entire minigame that acts as a test of your knowledge of Woohoo Island landmarks feels like it was made just for me. Rhythm Kung Fu is a lot more fun when you're not recording gameplay, as my capture card adds a little bit of latency that makes all the rhythm games in Wii Fit so much harder. What I'm saying is that I'm way better at this minigame normally, alright, you just have to trust me. Pulling off the right movements at the perfect time feels great, and the overall theming here is fantastic. I love replaying this game over and over again, as it makes you feel like a true Kung Fu master. As much as I like this one, I still don't know what it wants me to do during this part of the extra mode, as my punches never seem to register properly. But this is still my favorite of the rhythm-themed minigames. Segway Circuit can be a little hard to control at first, but once you get it down, it's really fun. The different locations are all solid, and having to chase down the final mole as he runs away from you is a great challenge. And it's awesome how a dog will run alongside you and slow him down. Tilting forward and backward is a perfect match for controlling the Segway, and speeding up by leaning in feels really cool. It's really satisfying to string together multiple hits in a row, and learning the most effective routes to take keeps me coming back to this one. I might be putting basic step and advanced step too high, but it's just too iconic and catchy to put any lower. Stepping on and off the balance board to the beat of the song is surprisingly fun, and the expert mode can get pretty intense. It's the music that makes this one so legendary though. If you don't clap along with the Mii's, then I don't think you have a soul. Taking such a boring and straightforward exercise and turning it into something this charming is what Wii Fit does best, and it always puts me in a good mood after playing it a few times. Bird's Eye Bullseye is basically just the jetpack sections of a Pilot Wings game, only with controls that make you feel like a total idiot. Yes, you can technically flap your wings by just squatting down a bit, but as far as I'm concerned, actually using your arms to violently flap through the air is required to get the full experience. You get a pretty nice view of the island in this mode, and alternating between small and big flaps to get the best time is really enjoyable. It's how totally ridiculous this one looks and plays that makes me like it so much, but I can understand that pretending to be a flying chicken isn't everyone's idea of a good time. The Wii Fit U version of this minigame is weirdly blurry though, so even though it has the extra penguin suit mode, I think the Wii version is still my favorite way to play this one. Soccer heading is one of the best minigames focused on tilting, as avoiding obstacles and hitting soccer balls is super addicting. Things start off pretty slow, but get crazy really fast. Getting a streak of perfect hits feels amazing, and I always feel like I could do better with just one more attempt. It's really fleshed out for being such a simple concept, and I feel like this one really makes the most out of its setup. This also feels like one of the most iconic Wii Fit minigames, and it's one of the ones that comes to my mind first when thinking about these games. The only thing it's missing is some great music, but the terrific sound effects of hitting the soccer balls and dodging left and right almost make up for that. Snowball Fight is basically like soccer heading but with an added layer of strategy, requiring you to fight back while also dodging incoming fire. Things can get pretty intense, especially once they start throwing snowman heads at you that take you out in one hit. Getting good at this one makes you feel like a Snowball Fight legend, taking on hundreds of Mii's all by yourself. This game proves that the balance board can create epic gameplay moments that wouldn't feel nearly as cool with a regular controller. Nailing a Mii right in the face after popping out from behind cover feels amazing. Scuba Search is the only minigame that makes great use of full 360-degree movement on the balance board, which when combined with the gamepad to look through makes this one play unlike anything else. Add in some Endless Ocean type gameplay with truly angelic underwater music and I'm 100% sold. I used to play this one and wish for a new Endless Ocean game, but it turns out that this Wii Fit activity ended up being better than the actual newest Endless Ocean entry. The main focus is on exploration, and once you unlock the advanced mode, a massive new area is opened up to you that has a surprising amount of depth and scale. Seeing a whale swimming high above you as the incredible music plays is something really special. It might not be very good exercise, but the vibes of this one are just amazing. Skateboard Arena has possibly the highest difficulty curve of any of the minigames. Getting good at this one takes time and patience. It does have the same problem as snowboarding where it hurts my neck after a while since you have to use the balance board sideways, but it's worth it for this one because of how cool it makes you feel. Precision and perfect balance are required if you want to get through all the stages and all of the difficulties, which adds a lot of replayability. Unlike something like Balance Bubble, the super high difficulty pushes me to try again and again to improve instead of giving up. Once you finally start doing everything you want to, it's one of the best feelings in all of Wii Fit. There's also this insanely cool audio effect when you go up in the air where the music changes for a bit before coming back as you land, and it never gets old. This was the last minigame I played while getting gameplay, and it felt like a big final challenge and an epic send-off to my time playing Wii Fit for this video. Obstacle Course is another one of those super iconic minigames that shows off what Wii Fit is all about. While not quite as hard as Skateboard Arena, this one is no joke either. You'll have to really focus to not get knocked off the course, and finally making it all the way through feels fantastic. While it may look simple from a gameplay standpoint, anyone who's actually played it knows how fun it is. The ultimate mode in Wii Fit U is a little more messy as it adds in directional control, which is pretty touchy, but it's still really fun. It's a strange mix of a super chill atmosphere and plenty of rage-inducing moments that only these games can pull off perfectly. Yes, it's annoying when the balance board doesn't register your jump when you want it to, but that's all part of the true Wii Fit experience. This gameplay loop would be decently fun in any normal game, but it's the bizarre control scheme that takes it to the next level. It shouldn't be a surprise that the guy who's obsessed with Woohoo Island would put island cycling at the #1 spot, as this minigame is the closest we'll ever get to a fully open-world explorable version of this island. I absolutely love that your score is based on the distance you travel and not how fast you go. It gives this one a really chill and laid-back atmosphere that lets you pedal at your own pace and take in the sights. There's a lot of content here, with 5 different modes that all take a while to beat. Getting through the expert course can take a pretty long time, as the flag checkpoints can be really hard to find. Once you get through all the modes, you unlock a free ride mode that lets you explore to your heart's content for 30 minutes, which I didn't know about when I made my History of Woohoo Island video, and that will haunt me until the day I die. Riding around on your bike gives the island an amazing sense of scale and makes it feel like a real location. This is also the best way to experience all the different seasons on Woohoo Island since you get to go wherever you want. It's pretty light on the exercise, but it still keeps you moving for a long period of time. It might be weird to use a word like immersive to describe a Wii Fit minigame, but hearing nothing but the sounds of the bike and the nature around you transports me to another world. And for me, island cycling is the very best that the Wii Fit games have to offer. And that's all of the main minigames ranked, which means now there's just the dances and the yoga and strength poses. I don't have nearly as much to say about these, so this will go pretty fast. Let's start with the dances.
Fantastic!
Beginner Dance is a solid way to introduce you to the gameplay style of these modes, but it doesn't do anything too impressive aside from that. Despite being at the bottom, this is by no means bad, as honestly all the dances are pretty similar in terms of quality. It's really just up to personal preferences about the theming.
1, 2. 1, 2.
Burning beats is designed to be done for long stretches of time, which means it's pretty simple and repetitive. It's still a lot of fun though, and you can kind of turn your brain off and just enjoy the movements. If you're playing Wii Fit because you actually want to exercise, this is a great one to play a lot of.
Looking great!
I wanted to like hip hop a lot more, but this one ended up being the most inconsistent in terms of registering my movements. It's possible I was doing something wrong, but I could never get into a solid flow while playing. The music and overall theming are pretty great though.
Once you've got it, try making bigger movements.
Salsa took forever to get down, as it's really easy to get tripped up on the moves. I got used to it after a while though, and it's a lot of fun after that. I love the tropical theming, although there's another dance that does this even better. I don't really have any strong negatives here, but nothing too positive either.
Nice moves.
Alright, they're all really great from here on out, and jazz has a really nice flow to it. The musicians in the back jamming as you dance is a fun detail, and the Miis look extra stylish in this one. I just wish I could actually be snapping along with the music instead of having to hold 2 Wii remotes.
Just flow with the rhythm and let your mind and body go.
Hula is super chill, and it feels great to stay in rhythm with the slow swaying from side to side. Tropical vibes are always peak, and this dance has plenty of those. It's not very difficult, which makes it easy to follow along with, but also not super replayable.
1, 2, 3. Right. Left. Beautiful.
The quick, sharp movements of flamenco are really satisfying to pull off, and the Mii's going crazy on the guitars behind you are great too. The hand and foot movements go together really well, and I'm running out of words to keep describing all these dances. I go back and forth on whether or not this one is my favorite, but there's still one more that I think I like just a bit more.
Open, cross, 5, 6, 7, 8. Open, cross, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Locking is at the top of the dances because its freezing style of moving combines really well with the balance board and Wii remotes, which makes playing this one feel the best. Plus it looks the coolest with all the posing and hand twisting. If I ever actually decide to play a Wii Fit dance, which is rare, this one is the one I always go to. If there's anyone out there who has strong feelings about these rankings, feel free to educate me in the comments as I have no idea what I'm talking about. Alright, there's just one section left, which is all the yoga and strength poses. I'm not ranking these based on any sort of real logic or exercise-based critiques. It's just my random opinions of them. I'm going to speedrun this section as fast as possible because I don't think any of us actually care about it. But I have to do it as the title of this video says I'm ranking every Wii Fit activity, so here we go. Deep breathing, shoulder stand, standing knee, single leg twist, grounded V, warrior, spine extension, palm tree, rowing squat, tricep extension, single arm stand, downward facing dog, chair, sideways leg lift, bridge, plank, lunge, push up and side plank, arm and leg lift, gate, spinal twist, single leg extension, torso twists, jackknife, balance bridge, single leg reach. Sun salutation is actually a pretty solid neutral special. I mean, it's a projectile that heals you a little bit, which is great. Oh wait, wrong game. Triangle, cobra, side lunge, half moon, dance, and finally at the very top of the list, there's tree pose. This is truly the perfect Wii Fit yoga pose. It's simple, iconic, and whenever I think of Wii Fit yoga, this pose is what immediately comes to mind. And that's all of the strength and yoga poses ranked. If you disagreed with any of those rankings, don't worry, as I assure you I don't care. With that section over, I've officially ranked every single activity from the Wii Fit series. I know there are a few balance tests during a body test, but I don't really count those as full activities. Despite my rankings getting a little pointless there at the end, I did actually put some real time and effort into ranking all the main minigames. It was a lot of fun to revisit Wii Fit over the past few weeks. These games have a lot of really great content to enjoy. While making this video, I discovered that my Wii Fit U meter doesn't turn on anymore, which was a very sad moment. But overall, I really enjoyed making this one, and I hope it was a fun trip down memory lane for you if you grew up playing Wii Fit. This era of Nintendo definitely has a unique type of charm that has never been fully recaptured. But please don't make me rank all of the Wii Party minigames next because there's like 150 of them. While I probably won't play a lot of these activities ever again, it was a lot of fun to do nothing but play Wii Fit for a while. And if you still happen to have an old balance board sitting around somewhere, I encourage you to do the same.